Chasing It Outdoors, right here on the Chasing It Outdoors podcast. This episode is brought to you by Shiver Outdoor and Archery, located in Leesburg, Georgia, 1461 US 19 South, for all of your hunting and fishing needs. All right, welcome back to another Chasing It Outdoor podcast right here on the Chasing It Outdoor Network. Man, oh man, do I have a good one for us tonight. This is going to be fun, and I want to go ahead and apologize for this podcast because I don't know where this is going to go. All right. The guest that I got on tonight is by far the most famous person that I have in my phone book, in my phone. He's more famous than any other phone number that I got. So, and we've been buddies for, I don't know, 5 or 6 years now. So this could wind up becoming real interesting, just depending upon how many Busch lattes he, or we have. But anyway, I know this gentleman. I don't know if y'all seen my post on Facebook earlier today, but I know this guy by the name of Scotty Evans. Most of you are going to know him by BowTok on TikTok. And BowTok has gone and just flat blown up on TikTok. And like I said, he's now the most famous person I know. I don't know if I should call you BowTok or if I should call you Scotty.
Please call me Scotty.
Scotty, what's going on, dude? How are you?
Oh, hanging in there, brother. How you holding up?
Oh, dude, it's like a loose tooth. And I
And
just got done.
I know some people have seen your Facebook post about it because I had a couple guys in here earlier today like, hey, I heard you're going to do a podcast with Robbie. I'm like, he must have. I didn't know you had posted anything. So I was like, yeah, I am actually.
Yeah. Man, I just got done eating. Wifey made some taco salad and I scarfed it down in a hurry. Whew, I'm full.
Yeah, I actually sucked down some Arby's on the way home, and Lord have mercy, that smokehouse brisket ain't no joke, brother.
Good.
Oh yeah, put you in a food coma. But yeah, man. So you said something about what people call me, whether it's Scotty or BowTok. Little backstory on the whole BowTok name, and I think I may have mentioned this in another podcast, but when I originally switched my personal account to pretty much an archery only ordeal account, I was trying to think of what's kind of a funny name. I wasn't looking for like a cool name or anything like that. I was like, what's something that people kind of chuckle at? I was like, BowTok, BowToks. And 90,000 followers later, it's too late to change it.
I'm glad you stuck with BowTok. Yeah, I'm glad you stuck with BowTok. Well, do me a favor, and you kind of just elaborated on it, and I was going to ask that question. But take a second, tell everybody that's listening, because either A, they know you by BowTok on TikTok, or they don't know you at all unless they're in and around the commerce area. But take a second and just tell us a little bit about you and yourself and how you got into doing what it is that you do.
As far as the shop goes, you mean?
Yeah, all of it.
Yeah, so going way back to 2015 was the original LLC of Feathers and Antlers Outdoors. Didn't have a store at the time or anything, and a lot of people don't know this, but waterfowl hunting was actually my first love getting into the industry. Absolutely obsessed with duck hunting back in the day. Still love it to this day, but you can only kill so many wood ducks till it's like, okay, I need something else to do.
Yeah, that's kind of all we have around here.
Yeah, pretty much. And so I actually used to make waterfowl calls, a lot of mallard calls, a couple of wood duck calls here and there, and I traveled around the country doing the hunting expos. If you're in Georgia, you've heard of the Buckarama and the Outdoor Blast. Those are the kind of hunting expos me and my old man used to do. He would sell camouflage, and I would sell duck calls. We did that for about 2 years. We were in a different city every weekend for 6 months out of the year. We did okay with it, but between the price of the booth and basically the amount of money we were making towards the end, we were like, you know what? There's nothing in our area in Commerce, Georgia, where we're at now. Let's just rent a space and see what happens. Well, fast forward to present day 2024, as of 23 days ago. We are now pretty much a premier outdoor sporting goods store with everything but firearms. We're still working on that. But as far as higher end apparel, Sitka, Badlands, Drake Waterfowl, um, currently have I think 4 bow lines. We carry BowTech Prime Darton and Bear Archery, and then of course 10-point Raven crossbows. A lot of tournament bass fishing gear between Shimano, Daiwa, and of course all your baits. I'm not even going to get in that. You've got fishing at your
Yeah.
store.
Yeah, we
Oh
could
Lord
talk
have
for
mercy.
hours.
You look at 4 or 5 rows and you would never guess there's 5,000 SKUs there.
Yeah, yeah, no joke.
But yeah, that's basically where we started and where we're at now, and the sky's the limit.
What kind of future plans do you have for that location? Are y'all staying there? Y'all got something else in the works, or you
We've
just gonna kind of ride it till it bucks you?
Yeah, we've talked around the idea of getting our freestanding building. We're actually in a Tanger Outlet Center for anybody that doesn't know, and Tanger's been really good to us. They've never really give us a reason to leave. We've tossed around the idea, but for the time being, we're definitely going to stay where we're at.
Well, y'all got a pretty place up there. I mean, y'all have done a good job with it, and you seem to have a really big draw. I mean, I talk to people here that, and we're 4 hours from one another or so, that they'll tell me, yeah, I went into a bow shop at the Tanger Outlet. I didn't even know that the mall had bow shops, and I'm like, oh, you did really? Well, that pretty little dude that's in there, that's a buddy of mine. Um, but yeah, so that's cool, man. Y'all been busy? Did y'all have a good year this year?
We did. We had a really good year last year. Lot more online sales, but also a lot more foot traffic in general. People driving a long ways to come see us. And so far, like I said, we're only 24 days into the year so far, but it's already looking promising. Arrow builds have not slowed down whatso flipping ever. Um,
Yeah, we're working on several dozen at the shop now.
yeah,
How much of that do you think comes from TikTok?
almost 100%.
Almost 100% of it. So,
Yep.
yeah. So if you're someone like yourself that's easy on the eyes versus someone like me that people don't want to look at, um, I was thinking about this on the way home. You do a really good job on TikTok, and you don't get to 90,000 followers without being able to deliver a message in a way that people can understand or relate. You do a really good job of the videos that you put together.
I appreciate that, and that's it's really funny, Robbie. 6 months ago, that's when I really started messing with TikTok. I've had an account for probably 2 years and never really done anything with it. But 6 months ago, actually during our typical slow season, I think it was probably April, June, somewhere around there, where I'm sitting there twiddling my thumbs. I was like, you know what? I'm bored. I'm gonna make a video, see what happens. And one led to the other, and 15,000, 20, 30, 40, 50. And I'm like, how much of this is actually real people? That's the first thing I'm thinking. I'm like, how many of these people are actually, real people? And then as the business picked up and the inquiries came in, the emails, the online orders, I'm like, okay, these are real human beings.
It's not
Um,
a robot somewhere, some dude out of Bong Wong.
yeah, exactly. And that's what I was, because when I first started doing videos, I was like, and saw how many views I was getting. I was like, there's no way there's that many people out there interested in what I have to say. That's what I was thinking. And and,
Ninety thousand followers says otherwise.
yeah, and to your point, Robbie, and whenever I talk about a product, I literally talk to the camera like I do to a person that's in my store.
Hmm.
I try to keep it simple, I try to keep it cordial, and I try to make it make sense because when I started gaining a little bit of traction, I said, is there not anybody else doing this? And of course there are, but a lot of times us as bow technicians, we get so in depth, we get so tedious, we get so carried away that your stereotypical bow hunter who's only going to shoot his bow 1-2 months out of the year, you start going too in depth on a topic with that guy, he's like, I'm out. This is too much. This is not what I need. So I guess that's kind of a niche I may not have found, is just like you said, giving making it easier for people to relate to.
Have you found it odd? Because I played around on TikTok a fair amount, and the account that I'm trying to rebuild is nowhere near where I was
Yeah,
on the account that I lost from
yeah.
talking about pews. But do you find it odd talking to the camera when customers are in there, like when you're doing your TikTok lives and you've got customers coming in and out and they're sitting there looking at your phone, like, what what are you doing, man? Because at least I did the few times that I've done it. It's like I had customer. I was on TikTok live for a little bit today, and there's customers on the pew pew side of the room, and I'm over there talking to my phone like there's somebody standing there.
hmm at first it used to kind of bother me because I'm like, oh man, these people are gonna think I'm weird. They're gonna walk out the store. But honestly, with as much interaction as I have on my lives, it doesn't bother me nearly as bad. And honestly, I just tell people like, hey, I'm on a conference call. I'm like, that's
Yeah,
honestly what I sometimes tell people because they'll look at me. They're like, you want to call? I'm like, yeah, there's 100 other people right here.
that's not a bad way of doing it.
Yeah.
Um,
Because
I hadn't
one,
thought
it
about.
makes a little bit more sense, and number two, it kind of makes you feel better because I mean, you've got a lot of the same customers I do. You got a 70, 80-year-old guy come in and he sees you talking to your tablet. He's like, "What are you doing?" You don't want to be
Are
like,
you
"Oh,
okay?
I'm on TikTok." He's gonna be like,
Tick what?
what?"
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, no, I completely get where you're coming from, and yeah, it was a little weird at first, but now people come in and they'll ask, "Hey, are you TikToking? Hey, are you on live? Are you doing it right now? Or hey, I saw you were on live. I drove up here." It's like, really?
Yeah, we were doing a test last night, and unfortunately, the way I thought I was going to be able to do the audio side of this is not record. It's recording me, but it doesn't look like it's picking you up. But we tested this last night, and we were talking about you being at the ATA show and people coming up to you and wanting to take pictures.
Mhm.
I mean, I can't imagine what that's like.
It was very humbling, and it let me know that I guess I'm doing the right thing as far as what people want to see. Um, I mean, I was delightfully shocked at how many people said, "Hey, man, love your content, love your stuff. You mind if we take a picture?" Sure.
Yeah.
If it means that much to you, absolutely. Um, it's like this morning I'd been in the shop an hour and I was actually working on emails. Guy comes over and says, "I think I've seen you on TikTok." I'm like, "No, you didn't." He goes, "Oh, really?" I'm like, "No, you probably did." He goes, "Yeah, I thought so. You do the bow stuff." I said, "Yeah." About 30 minutes later, another guy comes in talking about arrows, and some of the questions he was asking, almost like he was like fact checking me about what I've said in the past. And I was going along with it, answering his question. He goes, "So how many people have you come in or how many people have come in today asking for BowTok?" I said, "Well, you're the second one in an hour."
See, I told you, you're the most famous person that I have in my phone, and a lot like you. I'm sure I've been fortunate, and I've got to know some people that have been pretty successful. I mean, Super Bowl ring wearing gentlemen.
hmm
Some guys that are in the hunting industry that have pretty successful television shows and or YouTube channels. Dude, hands down, you are by far the most famous person that I know, and it happened by accident.
Yeah, and I guess that's how it typically happens from what I've been told.
But it's
But
crazy because you're no different than the rest of us. You're just, a Georgia redneck that likes to play
that's
with
what I keep telling
technology.
people. Yeah, I tell you the funniest thing about this whole ordeal is when people come in the shop and they are shocked to see me in there building arrows, restringing bows, cutting arrows, sweeping the floor, taking out the trash. They're like, "You work
What?
here?" I'm like,
So this is not a joke or it's not a ploy.
"Yeah,
You're really here.
yeah." It's which to me is hilarious because it's like I promise you, TikTok helps generate the sales through the store, but it doesn't pay the bills. Um,
Right.
nope, I'm still there anywhere from 5 to 6.5 days a week, 362 days a year.
You got any hunts planned for the upcoming year?
Yeah, me and my buddy Zach Rushing are supposed to go to Kansas. I got to get some details from him. Excuse me.
Yeah,
He
dude. I shouldn't have ate so much so fast.
yeah, same here, homie. And then pounded a bush light after that. But we're supposed to go to Kansas. As far as that goes, I don't know of any other um, planned hunts because I didn't go on any trips this past year. Neighbor 3 miles down the road shot the deer I was after. About a nice 135, typical 8-pointer, and congratulations to him.
Yeah.
But
I guess it happens. It's part of it.
it is, man. It is
Better
part of
than
it.
better than being hit by a car or something, I reckon.
Yeah, and I've been telling everybody the same thing. I'm like, would have been really ticked off if the deer got shot last year after I passed it up 3 times, versus this year when I was actually saying, okay, it's time for this sucker to get shot. And the way I look at it is, if it's good enough for me to shoot, it's good enough for anybody to shoot.
Yeah, that's a fact. Well, I'm gonna jump into a couple of questions. I was fortunate enough to get asked by yourself to partake in Bows and Brews, which is something that you do on TikTok Live in the evenings. What days do
Mhm.
you do that? Tuesdays and Thursdays?
It kind of varies. I try to do it Mondays and Thursdays typically, but it depends on what we got going on, and honestly, it depends on how much free time I have.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that we talked about in that TikTok live, I guess it was Monday, was how do you see 2024 going for your shop? And then I'll kind of, you know, follow along after you.
Yeah. So first things first, it's election year, so that's always a wave to ride. Who's gonna win? Who's gonna do better for the economy? Who's gonna make people feel more comfortable to spend money is basically what it comes down to. Um, as of right now, with the brands that we've secured in the shop, I'm excited to see what 2024 does. We started with Sitka last year as a first year dealer, and actually, excuse me, year before. I apologize. But this year we're really expanding a lot more. That brand has done phenomenal for us. Badlands has really helped a lot. We secured Darton dealership. Um, I've been delightfully surprised at how many of those bows we've sold in a short period of time. I'm not getting my hopes up terribly on Darton yet because I have brought new brands in where I sell a bunch of them really fast and then they kind of taper off. So I'm curious to see if it, stays steady or if it kind of tapers off. Overall, I'm excited that, shipping seems to be doing a lot better in our industry. Uh,
That's a fact.
yeah, compared to COVID, if you've ever been, back in the COVID days, we might as well just locked our doors and went camping.
Yeah, we were fortunate at Ace that we had product on the shelves because if you didn't have it, especially when you got into August, there was no getting it
Nope,
for the most part.
nope, you were not getting it. But yeah, I feel like 2024 is going to be another great year. Hopefully we continue to grow and hopefully you see the same thing going for your shop. Hope it keeps growing down there for you, brother.
And it has, and we've been extremely blessed. I guess we're in our third year now. A little after, I guess we've been in business now 3 years, so we're 3 plus. Because we
Yeah.
started in 2020, December of 2020. I've got a very similar outlook. I do feel like the election is going to play a part. Now it'll be later in the year, um, but depending on how caucuses go and you know pre-election polls and whatnot, I think that'll kind of help build or take away from some excitement that may be there or may not be there. So I
Hmm.
think that'll kind of help. I'm very intrigued with the new products that have come out. I'd like to see a couple manufacturers, one in particular, and I'm not going to go into a bashing session, but I'd like to see some one particular brand be able to produce some product a little quicker.
Robbie
And we
wants
talked,
Matthews to ship him his bows.
yeah. I mean, I don't,
I'll
I don't,
say it.
I don't want to get into a pissing contest or a
Nah, no,
bashing session, but
I mean, it's not just you. I mean, it's across the board as far as Matthews dealers goes. From what I've been told, for anybody listening to this, I myself am not a Matthews dealer, but I have a lot of contacts who own shops that are Matthews dealer, and it's kind of like what Robbie says. It's just they can't produce them fast enough, which is a good problem to have for Matthews, bad problem to have for shop owners.
yeah, yeah, for sure. And with that being said, and we kind of talked about it the other night, if they stay in the position that they're in, I do see some of those sales shifting potentially to other brands. So that's not necessarily a horrible thing, but I'd like to see it a little better.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited, man. We're steadily growing. Our market here, where I'm at now in Leesburg, Albany area, is so much different than where when I was in Social Circle. Uh, the residential household income is a little less. It's just a different market. So I'm still learning that market. Our average ticket price is less than what I'm accustomed to, but I'm still learning it, and I'm excited now that we've been in business 3 years. We've built a decent platform. People are starting to know us when they think of archery or hunting related items. We're now kind of in that thought. Oh man, I need to run the shivers and pick up some cover scent or some
Yeah.
tinks or
Yeah.
broadheads or whatever, some ammo. Because we sell, if it's hunting related, we sell it.
Well,
But you know,
that's what you want, man. Obviously, I've been there, done that. I mean, we started literally selling true timber camouflage, custom made duck calls, and that's really about it. And then we, went into Drake and more and decoys and catering more to the waterfowlers. Because when our store uh first made its appearance, that was kind of the tail end of the duck dynasty gurus,
mm-hmm.
where everybody and their mama was duck hunting, buying as much stuff as they could to stay warm. And so that helped us generate a lot more sales too back in the day.
Now you mentioned that you got Sitka. That's been a good brand for you.
Hmm.
How does their internet sales affect you? And we've talked about bringing Sitka in. It is a pretty substantial opening order from what I understand. Now, I tried to call and email, and I've yet to be able to get a response from them guys. But when they drop or when they do these sales like they did this past Christmas at 40% off, do you notice that affects you inside the store any at all?
No, because we matched that sale.
Yeah, that's the only way
Um,
to combat it.
it is because I would much rather, the customer come into my shop and buy it for that percentage versus coming to my shop, try it on to make sure he gets the right size, and go home and buy it off their website for that percentage.
Yeah, yeah, that makes perfectly good sense. And it's a line that we've talked about bringing in. If I could get them to call me back or answer a text or an email, it would help. And I got the number from you. Excuse
Hmm,
me, and I still have yet to be able to get any kind of response from them whatsoever.
interesting. Yeah, I
What?
remember sending you the guy's contact information. I was wondering, I haven't seen you post or talk about it, so I figured either you decided not to bring it in or something happened.
Yeah, just for whatever the reason, I don't know why. I can't seem to get any kind of response from them.
Hmm,
Maybe because there's a dealer an hour or so from us. I don't know if that's it or what the deal is, but I've tried and
possibly.
I'll try again. But at
Yeah,
least I'd like to, be told, no, you're too close to said dealer. We're not going
yeah,
to open another dealer versus not getting anything at all.
yeah. I got you.
Another question: what is a common issue that customers present to us as techs?
Um, common issue would be, so it's a very broad question, or I could have a very broad answer. I think the most common issue is, and I of course mean this politely, is that they don't necessarily know what they need. And, a lot of times they use the wrong terminology, or, maybe they're confused about what they think is the problem versus what is the problem. Um, that's really the most common issue, especially over the phone. Lord have mercy, Robbie.
Oh yeah, dude, you ain't telling me
Oh
nothing,
my
brother.
goodness. And we certainly don't, discourage people from calling, but at the same time, there's only so much we can do over the phone. And you
Hmm.
know about usually about 60 seconds into the conversation, I usually just tell the customer politely, be better off if you just brought it in and let me get hands on and get a visual of what you actually need.
Yeah, it's hard to diagnose a problem over the phone when you're not looking at the actual problem a lot of
Yep.
times. Yeah, and I'll I'm right there with you. The other thing is the customer doesn't always know what they need, but they also don't know what they want a lot of times.
And they
Um,
also don't realize what it may or may not cost.
yeah, which I don't know that I see that as a problem. I do see it where it's an opportunity for me to give them a couple of different options
Hmm.
price wise. Um, so that was one of the questions that you proposed or asked the other night. So I'm just flipping it back on you.
Okay, come on with it.
What is one important, or what is more important to the consumer brands, or what is more important to the consumer brands or relationship with the shop?
It depends. I truly believe that a good customer service is going to win every time at the end of the day. I really do believe that. You are going to have your guys that are brand specific, and if you don't have it, they're not going to buy it, no matter how much they do or don't like you. Um, but when you can have both, you become a powerhouse.
That's a
Um,
fact.
I mean that's there's just no because the emails I get, Robbie, from all over the country. I am one state shy of having to have shipped arrows to every state in the country. By the
What
way,
what state is that?
Alaska.
All right, folks. We
I
need
need
somebody
some
to make an
Eskimo to
or.
send me their address.
All they want's a half dozen Black Eagle Outlaws at 28 and a half carbon to carbon. Somebody from Alaska send Scotty an order so he can cross that 50th off the list.
I've done all the other ones, 49 states. Alaska's the last one, but basically, what were we talking about? What's better, customer service or brands?
Mm-hmm.
When it comes down to it, a customer's gonna buy what he wants, but a lot of times, especially in a small town scene like what we have and kind of what you have too, you're gonna build a relationship with your customers directly, and they're gonna uh, try to give you every dollar that they can because they like you and you've earned that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I learned this, what I'm fixing to say, from a good friend of mine that I worked for many years ago, and it stuck with me ever since he said it, and it's in his tagline, in his up under his logo and his business logo, and it's customer service is priority number one, and I agree with that wholeheartedly. I try to treat our customers as if it were me on the other side of the counter because I know what it feels like to be that guy on that side of the counter because I was one for a long time.
Yep.
All right, you got to go to the ATA. I didn't go this year. You got to go. What
Hmm.
is? Give me a couple items that you saw, or a couple, you know, products that you saw at the ATA that maybe not blew your mind, but it was like, all right, I got to have some of them.
Well, the number one product that I saw at ATA that I was like, I gotta have it. Actually, there was kind of two products, but same company. But the number one product I saw that I was like, I'm getting a lot of those didn't even come out at ATA. It's been out for a year, and it's the October Mountain Fletching Jig.
The
That
OMP
thing,
jig,
huh?
that OMP jig.
Or not? Yeah, yeah. OMP October. Yeah, isn't that right?
Yeah,
October Mountain.
October Mountain Products. Yeah.
Okay, I was just making sure I said it right. That thing is phenomenal. Really excited about that. But like I said, it's been out for a year, so I had seen it, but I never really got hands on with it, so I never really thought anything about it, which is kind of a good thing because apparently they had a finishing, like the finish on the jig. They had an issue with that last year, so nobody got any, even if you already paid for them. So they're addressing that this year. As far as um,
Now, is that an item, not before you go any further, is that an item that you're going to stock and sell, or is that just going to be a store use thing?
Starting off, it's going to be a store use thing, but considering the price point, I'm considering stocking it.
What does that
Uh,
jig sell for? Do you know?
I want
Retail.
to say you're looking at about $1.20, give or take $10
Retail?
retail.
Oh.
Yeah,
So just a little more than a bits, but considerably less than the last chance. Did
yep,
you got to fletch some arrows on it, if I remember correctly from your TikTok?
yep. Yep, I got to fletch some arrows on it. The magnet on that thing is what impressed me and the fellow that I was with, Dustin. Because if you've ever fletched with really any jig, specifically a bits, if you're running tack veins, one of my favorite veins on planet Earth because they're so tough. Well, one of the reasons they're so tough is because they don't flex like a lot of other fletching. So when you push those onto an arrow shaft, you really need to hold down your Benson burger
Mm-hmm.
with both hands to make sure you get a good contact on that surface. Because of the magnet on the October Mountain, you don't once you snap it, push it down, take your hand off.
It's
Go to the
there.
back. Yeah, go make some coffee, go make some dinner, come back. That thing is not moving. A little bit more ease of use as far as setting the jig, because on the bits you got your knob up top and knob up bottom. You turn them to cant the jig or cant the clamp left and right. A little bit easier on that on the OMP jig. And I actually pulled the engineer aside. I was like, "Hey man, I won't tell anybody, but is that an AAE knob on that thing?" He's like, "No, what's an AAE knob?" I'm like, "Oh my god, you are an engineer."
Yeah. Now I've got AAE knobs in all our bits jigs.
Well, I was actually gonna order some until I got a hold of that one, and it felt just like the AAE, dude. I
Well, if
mean,
you can get the OMP jig, then you won't need the knobs for your bits jigs.
right? That's it. That's exactly it. But so that was my favorite product. Which a lot of people will be like, "Man, that's boring." Well, if you fletch arrows as much as we do, it's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Um, um, as far as other products go, um, another one I was really excited about was the Grit series from Tethered Saddles.
Now,
A
what is
retail.
that exactly?
So the Grit series is a retailer exclusive product from Tethered. You cannot buy it direct from Tethered. They'll show it on their website, and then when you go click to buy, it's going to send you straight to your nearest dealer.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yes. They are only available in Bottomland right now, which
That's even sweeter.
that's good. If there was a pattern I would go with, and this is coming from somebody who doesn't even wear Bottomland, it would definitely have been Bottomland. They did good with that. I do wish they would come out with a solid, and I think they're working on it.
All right.
But
That's
other than that,
definitely one which I've talked with Billy about that, which is our tethered sales rep here locally, and I've heard about it, and I may have even got to see it, but I'm really excited about that one as well because I think that's going to put a not a dampener, if you will, on the other tethered saddles, but that one's because it's very price point oriented, if I remember correctly, is it not?
I want to say it's $300,
Yeah, yeah.
and for that you get, y'all do not quote me, but I'm gonna go out on a limb. Obviously, you get the saddle. It comes with two haulers, and I want to say it comes with the ropes as well. Don't quote me on the ropes. I know obviously you get the saddle and the haulers, but all that for $300.
So, and you've gotten into saddle hunting this year, and so have I. I dabbled in it a little bit last year, but I've gotten a lot more in depth with it this year. How is, or do you stock saddles in at Feathers and Antlers?
Absolutely.
And how well is saddle sales done for you in the shop?
They kind of like Sitka. It blew my mind how people come in and knew exactly what it was, knew exactly what they wanted, straight to the register. Here's my American Express, no questions asked.
Because it's not a cheap endeavor to get to dive off into when you
So
buy, platform and the saddle itself, and then sticks. If you go that route, I mean, you can spend several $100s on a good saddle setup.
yep. If you have absolutely nothing for your saddle setup and you're buying everything from scratch from Tethered, you're looking at over a grand out the door.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And people do it. I mean, I couldn't believe. I mean, Robbie, we brought it in very lightly because we were like, this is a lot of money, and
We did too.
we reordered. I want to say 6 or 7 times. It was
Yeah, we didn't reorder that frequent, but and I think market's not the right way to put it, but our terrain's a lot different. We got several places that's got 100+ acre fields,
Yeah,
That's not a saddle type environment, you know.
exactly. And that's I was about to say that y'all don't have as many trees as we do.
Oh, we got plenty of trees. Don't get me wrong, but you know, we've got several places where you could shoot a deer at 600 yards if you were, you know, good enough to do it.
Yeah.
And those type of setups, I don't think would be beneficial to a saddle. I mean, that's more of a box stand or, you know, a ladder lean to on a tree or something like that. But we do have places where, you know, you can use them. And of course, I do as myself. So there's definitely a market for us here with that, but nothing like it is up there where,
Yeah.
you know, a lot more woods, a lot less fields.
Well, also, I don't know what your public land is where you're at, but I mean, Lake Russell WMA, which is I want to say 30,000 acres, is 20 minutes from my shop, and then we got Wilson Shoals on top of that. Then we got Hartwell WMA. I mean, I, Robbie, I'll say there's probably 60 to 70,000 dollars of public, 70,000 acres of public land,
Hmm.
all within an hour and a half, 2 hours of me. I'm gonna grab a beer.
Yeah, go for it. And while he's doing that, of course, those of you that are in and around the Leesburg area, you know that we've got public land. I mean, we've got Chickasaw and we've got Albany Nursery, we've got Elmadale, we've got Hanahatchee. Uh, there's one outside of Americus. I can't quite remember the name of that one, but we've got public land here too, and a saddle would benefit you and own those kind of places. But where Scotty's at, there are a lot more woods, a lot less ag. Uh, their terrain is a lot more hilly than ours is. We're a lot flatter here than where he is. So, you know, he has a lot bigger market, so to speak, for the saddle hunting game. But we do too here in Leesburg, and I have found in the shop that you know we sold more in the shop than I thought we would. Now, of course, I'd like to sell some more, but we did pretty well with it. And I'm excited about this new tethered saddle that Scotty was speaking about. I have been able to put my hands on it. I did get to see it, and it's going to be a heck of a saddle for 2024.
Yeah, that saddle's gonna, for since saddle hunting got popular, it's kind of been a higher end way of hunting cost wise, and this saddle is gonna allow people who obviously don't want to spend what it typically costs to get into saddle hunting. It's gonna allow those guys to start off and figure out if they like it, and if they want to go to a nicer saddle down the road. Which honestly, man, that grid saddle is slick.
Did they say anything about shipping, or it's not going to turn into another issue like we were talking about a while ago? And again, I don't want to get into brand bashing or anything, but
I, you know, um, they didn't say, um, but I would imagine. So Tether went retail for the first time 2 years ago, 3 years ago, not long ago.
no, I think this year was the first time that they had a shop program
Well,
or
was
a
it
wholesale
this year?
program. Yeah, I
Okay,
believe so.
I didn't know if how many people have been doing it before me, but um, I think it really opened their eyes to the quantities they can move as a brand with retailers, and with this being strictly a retail only line, they've got to be ordering, pallets and truckloads of them, I would assume, because I mean, the Phantom and the Lockdown, especially, they did phenomenal for retailers, from what I can tell.
Yeah, now the lockdown was a little harder to get. I've got a lockdown, and that's what
Yeah.
I'm hunting out of now.
Oh,
Um,
see, I got a Phantom because I couldn't get lockdowns in time for when I needed them.
that lockdown is legit, dude. I really like the suspenders on it, and I like the zipper dump pouches, cis haulers, whatever you want to call them. I really like those being made into the saddle and having the zippers like they do. I'm really excited to actually spend a lot more time in my lockdown this coming year because I got it late this year. So, well, I guess we kind of really covered all the questions that I had. I'm not going to go through everything that we went through on your TikTok live the other night, but
You got anything
you
off
said
the wall?
you said you're going to Kansas, so
Uh huh.
you've got that hunt lined up. I'd really like to be able to go back to Texas like we did a couple of years ago. That was a lot of fun.
That was a ball, man.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. And we kind of joked about this the other night on the TikTok live. It was great, and I ain't gonna say that it sucks to shoot well. Not that we shoot well, but I guess we got lucky. We were done in 2 hunts, both of us, and I think we were the only two guys that didn't get to go home more than 2 hunts because we
Yep.
were tagged out.
Yep. That was really nice. So for
And we
everybody
can't
listening,
say that it was the prime bows because everybody that was there were shooting
shooting a prime
primes.
bow. So for everybody that doesn't know, me and Robbie were fortunate enough to go on a hunt trip together with that was paid for, sponsored by G5. We were out the cost of our uh travel, and that was it. To go to a ranch called the BSR, and very very South Texas.
Very South
Very.
Texas. Like when we rolled up at the liquor store, I think you were already there. We pulled up and he stopped at a liquor store. And they're like, "You see that direction right there? You go like 200 yards and the
It's
border."
Mexico.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, that was kind of wild.
But we were fortunate enough to go to this private ranch that was owned by a gentleman. I can't remember his name. He's lives in Mexico, and from what everybody has told me, what George Strait is to country music, that's what he is to Mexican country music, I guess,
Hmm.
or whatever's. But whatever, he was a big wig, or is a big wig. But they put us up at this lodge, and we were there to hunt javelinas. And for everybody that doesn't know, javelina is not a hog. It's not a pig. Even though we call them skunk pigs and stuff like that. Come to
Giant
find
rat.
out, and I didn't know this either. They're more closer to a rodent. Like I think they're closer to relatives. Actually, a rat.
Hmm.
Um,
I didn't know that either until we got there and started talking with Mitch and those guys. I didn't realize that's what it was. I thought it was, just a different breed of pigs.
I thought it was too. I mean, they got 4 legs, hairy, teeth, little snout. I mean, I thought they were just baby boars, but they're not. Um, but anyways, the way we hunted them was the guide picks us up in a F-250 with a pontoon boat on top of it, so to speak, where he drives it from the top, a high rack truck, loads up, 6 or 7 of us retailers, and drives around, presses a button, corn shoots out the front, corn shoots out the back, go around these big blocks where each block's like a couple hundred acres, maybe more. And by the time you come back around, there's javelinas that have come out of the brush into the middle of the road where you drove by, 40 minutes earlier eating the corn. And you basically stalk up to them. And as long as the wind's right, you pretty much have a good opportunity. And, your shot could be anywhere from 15 yards to 60 yards, depending on your comfort and how aggravating those particular javelinas are being. But yeah, me and Robbie, it was like a 5-day trip. Me and Robbie got it done, I think within like 24, 48 hours. And we sat on the back porch and drank tequila the rest of the trip while everybody else went and shot pigs or
Yeah,
javelinas.
or we rode around watching them do it.
Yeah, that's it.
I actually filmed a couple of guys that after I was done. My first one. Did you ever see the picture of Mitch laying in the culvert pipe?
I didn't.
I
I
need to
heard.
find that and send it to you. The first one that I shot was at like 30 yards and 12 ringed it. And those things, you got to aim on them a little different than I really thought. You shoot them further forward than I would have imagined. But,
Mm-hmm.
they're like, shoot them in the stripe. So the first one I shot it in the stripe. And, Texas isn't known, or at least South Texas isn't known for a lot of rain.
Mm-hmm.
So culvert pipes under roadways are not something that, you see a lot of, or at least I didn't. Well, the first javelina I shot crossed the road and then run in our direction and run into the culvert pipe that crossed under the road right where we were standing and
Mm-hmm.
and stopped. Well, we thought he was dead. Well, Mitch jumps down there, and Mitch is like 4 foot tall and weighs like 105 pounds. He was the only one that could fit in the pipe to reach into there and get the javelina out. Well, he starts dragging the javelina out, and by the time he comes out of the pipe, it starts moving. I come to full draw, and I'm like 3 yards and shoot him a second time. But that was wild. I need to find that picture of Mitch halfway in the pipe, halfway out of the pipe.
Yep. Old Mitch. Yeah, I saw him at ATA. He hadn't changed one bit.
What y'all call him? What was he? The Wish version of Morgan Wallen?
Yeah, Make a Wish, Morgan Wallen.
Make a Wish, Morgan Wallen. He looks just like him. I sent my daughter a picture of him. I'm like, hey, babe, check this out. I'm hunting with Morgan Wallen. And she really thought it was Morgan Wallen.
Yeah. That was yeah, when you were there, that was when Matt Zinger,
Mm-hmm.
that's his name? Into
Yeah.
the High Country.
Yeah.
Uh, when he was there, that boy could
Yeah.
shoot pretty good too.
He's a pretty cool dude. Last year when I went to the ATA, we went to the Badlands Film Festival, and
Hmm.
he had a video in the Badlands Film Festival. Yeah,
I
he's
didn't hear how that went this year. I went to that years ago. Well, the last time I went to ATA 6, 7 years ago, and that was pretty cool. I didn't go this year. I didn't really want to walk around that town any more than I had to.
yeah. From what I understand, it wasn't the most pleasant place to walk around. I
Ye-
wish I'd have been able to go simply because Jay Maxwell and with his 4610 Productions YouTube channel, he actually had a video in the Badlands Film Festival event, and I'd like to have been able to go and actually watch that because he's told me about it, but nobody's going to get to see that episode until closer to turkey season. But supposedly, it's a really good episode.
Really,
Hmm.
I didn't know he had one in there.
Have you gotten to know any of those guys or ever met any of those guys?
Jay, so I talked to Jay a little bit a few years ago when I had a bunch of hogs over here. Billy told me he was trying to shoot one with a bow. I said, heck, give him my number, and talked to him a couple times, and we never really got it worked out. For everybody that doesn't know about Jay, he does work a full time job. Uh,
Hmm.
Hunting is not his full time job, contrary to popular
Mm-mm.
belief. Um, but I did see him at ATA. I was able to speak with him very briefly. He was busy running around, had meetings and talking to companies and stuff, so I just let him do his thing. But
He's an
yeah,
extremely
that's
humble dude. He's no
he's done
different
what.
than you and I.
Oh yeah, that's what I could tell.
I've actually got it lined up. I'm gonna do a podcast with him here in the coming weeks. He's going on a duck hunt. Once he gets back from the duck hunt, we're gonna do a little podcast.
Heck yeah, that's awesome. Hey, he's a good fella. I was really excited when G5 picked him up.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I think that's him being a part of the brand is going to be good for the brand because he's humble, he's loyal, and he's just genuine.
I tell you, I don't watch YouTube videos probably like I should. But I did come across one of him and his wife that me and my wife were cracking up at. It was when they went alligator hunting together.
Hmm.
She had a tag, and you could tell Jay was just a nervous freaking wreck driving the boat, trying to get her on the gator and this, that, and the other. And my wife looked at me. She goes, "That's that. I feel like that's how you would act if me and you were on that boat." I'm like, "Yeah, you're probably right."
Yeah,
Ugh.
I can't imagine. I mean, there's got to be some pressure there when you're working for manufacturers like those guys do. There's got to be some pressure there to get the shot on camera, and it's got to be quality. So I'm sure he was a nervous wreck.
No, absolutely. Well, he does a phenomenal job from what I can tell. Like I said, I don't keep up with YouTube stuff as much as I probably should.
You're too popular on TikTok, man.
Well, I I get a lot of requests to start a YouTube channel, and I've been giving it some thought, and I do think it's potentially in the future. Uh, between tutorial videos, reviews, and of course hunting, because obviously we can't put that on TikTok. I mean, we can, just not the good stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but what a lot of people don't realize is YouTube, if you do it right, it is a lot of time. Um,
Yes. Yes.
Between getting out there, toting your equipment, like you said with Jay, getting the animal in frame, getting enough content, and then you got to edit it. Then you got to take it off the SD card, make it look good, but don't make it look too good to where people are like, oh, this is fake. and then of course upload it, and then hope somebody watches it.
Right. I mean, I've got 4 or 5 hunts on there from this year, 4 hunts from this year, I think. And I don't know how many hours I have sitting right here behind this computer editing video. And I'm not that good at it. I know enough to be dangerous, and that's about as far as it goes. And there's hours upon hours because you make a change and then you watch it. It's like, no, that wasn't the right change. So you undo it and you change it a different way. And finally, like the last couple has just been, this is what it's going to be and this is how it is. And I'm not spending any more time behind this computer for this 8-minute video.
Yep. Trust me, been there, done that. Do it.
I was going to say, well, we're at about 50 minutes or so. I think we chatted a couple minutes before this thing got started, or before I hit the record button. And I hope everything sounds good and turns out good because, again, I can see on my Adobe Audition that it can hear me, but it doesn't look like it hears you. I probably should have tested that. But hopefully everything sounds good and this thing goes all right and we don't have to do it again.
Well,
if we do it again, it'll be because we wanted to do it again, not because we have to do it again. Take a second and tell everybody where they can find Feathers and Antlers Outdoors, and then where they can find you on TikTok if they already don't have you on TikTok. And just tell us where we can find you.
So if you want to find me in my my family-owned shop, you'll typically either see me or my father or both of us there. It's Feathers and Antlers Outdoors. We're in Commerce, Georgia, right off of I-85 in the Tanger Outlet Center. We do have a website. It's feathersantlersoutdoors.com. You can check out pretty much all of our live inventory of what you see on our websites in our store. If you want to follow me on TikTok, it's BowTok77, BOWTOK. And then we also have a Instagram and a freshly new started Facebook called Bowboy. It's both Bowboy Instagram and Bowboy Facebook. And
that's where you can get these hats from.
Yep, you can find them in the link tree in my bio.
Link tree in my bio. So you'll be doing bows and brews tomorrow?
Yeah, so tomorrow I got a gentleman who's been keeping up with me, and I've actually been keeping up with him. It's fire. I always say his handle wrong. Let me look at it right here. I actually got it posted on my story. It is Knocked Up Outdoors. He's a small shop owner, or kind of a newer shop owner down in Texas. I believe his first name is Justin, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to check it out. But I wanted to bring him on. And then next week, got a couple good ones. I got Chef Joe coming on. He's a pretty big Instagram creator, but he's a big time hunter and obviously a chef. He does a lot of kill, clean, cook ordeals.
Maybe we'll find a good way to cook a backstrap other than the way we've been doing it.
Yeah, I know, right? And then I think the weekend, and then the Thursday after that, I do believe we got I believe he was a finalist on The Voice. His name is I got too many names. Hold on a second, I'll tell you. He's always on my Instagram. I think it's Walker Wilson. But he's a big outdoor enthusiast as well, so we're gonna have him on. And then I think the last one I got lined up is Heath Anderson. He's another country music singer who really big outdoors. So a lot of exciting stuff coming on Bows and Brews. If you don't know what it is, it's basically like what we're doing now, only a live on TikTok. And you'll definitely see me on there. You'll definitely see Robbie on there again as well.
Well, I look forward to it, and I appreciate the opportunity to do it. And I guess this is kind of where we're going to close it out. We're right here at 50 minutes or so now. Just want to thank each and every one of y'all for following along on Chasing It Outdoors here on the Chasing It Outdoors Network. I want to thank Scotty for coming on and being a part of today's podcast, which I guess when you listen to this, it won't be today. It may be tomorrow or whenever. But anyway, thanks, Scotty, for coming on and being a part of it. I will upload this to YouTube. This is the first time that I've actually videoed a podcast. So hopefully that works out. Hopefully the audio is good. Scotty, appreciate you coming on and being a part of tonight's episode or today's episode or whatever you want to call it. And maybe we can do it again, man. Maybe we can get to Texas and shoot some more javelinas.
Hey, it wouldn't hurt my feelings one bit. I know a guy with a lot of arrows.
Yeah, and I know where they can find them if someone else is going. Either they can check out Feathers and Antlers in Commerce, Georgia, or they can check out Shiver Outdoor and Archery in Leesburg, Georgia. One of us can get you set up with some
That's right.
darts.
If you're up north, I got you. If you down south, Robbie got you.
All right, folks. Well, again, we appreciate you following along and listening in. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube. You can find this podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcast. And till next time, remember to put God first and keep chasing.